Hi, this is Mark. Welcome to Buck Country Woodyard. It's been a interesting Midwest weather week, which is pretty normal for us, I guess. Because Monday it was snowing, and today it's supposed to get up to 60s, upper 60s. Maybe it's pretty windy, and we just had our daylight savings time change, so it's going to stay longer, which is I wish would be the normal all year time. But anyway. So today we had a lot of rain this week, so it's super muddy out. It's muddy season, obviously. So I'm getting wasn't going to get on the tractor today, just because I'm making ruts enough with the side-by-side. So today I'm going to get the pole saw out and work on the brush cutting that I've kept procrastinating. But one of the first things I do, because the pole saw is fairly unwieldy to move around with the tractor, and it's just long, and obviously it's just hard to move around. So thought, while I have it out, I'm going to go around the different parts of the property and take care of limbs like this that I just can't get under with the tractor if I need to mow this field, for example. There's several places like that where I just need to cut them back. And then I'm also just going to do some brush cutting. I mentioned that this field here, I'm not going to do a super amount of brush cutting on the edges, even though they need it a lot, because they'll wait till after turkey season. My son wants this to be, good cover for the turkeys. But I am going to do a little bit out here, like around some of these trees. This limb over here is way low. It's also really big. It's surprising when these limbs come down how heavy and big they are. There's almost probably firewood in some of those pieces. They're big enough. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to work on at first. And we'll go from there. I just realized I forgot my helmet. So probably the dumbest time to forget your helmet is when you're doing things purposefully to make things fall down, right? So we'll see. I'll probably go get it at some point. Okay, for each of these areas by these large trees, I'm going to after I cut down what I want, kind of stack it, as well as there's always some other stuff that's fallen down or around, and I can pick this all up from the field with the Grapple in the near future. So we got the first tree limbs that we wanted to use a pole saw for taken care of, and this makes a nice little pile just from mostly what was cut down. There were a few, like you see those ride-alongs that had fallen before and were just there. So my plan is, as I mentioned, is to get the Grapple. I'll probably make several of these piles in this area and pick those up just sometime before I mow. But I'm gonna, like I said, go around and get most in this area that require the pole saw, so that we can move around this field without scraping the roof of the tractor. Just maneuver better, and then it also just gives us a chance to clean up as we go. And like over there, I don't know if you can see it from here, but where there's a bunch of little brush that's growing up around that tree, I'm not sure I'm going to get that one specifically because it's not in the area that I'm going to go work, but when we have that, I'm going to try to take care of that too and put it in the same pile. So I don't plan to burn these piles, because if I burned everything we cut down, I'd have massive bonfires all the time, and they scare me a bit, to be honest. But I have one, you probably saw it by the wood yard, that I'll burn. These little piles like this, I'll probably just try to spread out on the boundary of the field out in the woods, and maybe cut them down so that they rot, decompose a little quicker. So that's the plan. Well, we got some of that, some of those limbs cut down, as you saw. There's something satisfying about using a pole saw, I find. I don't know. Maybe just because it's different. I don't know. It just seems like it's, well, I guess I just said it, satisfying. You have to be careful because those trees could fall on your head, as I noted earlier, and I still don't have my helmet, so not wise. Also, one tip that I have is if you're cutting a larger limb that's up high, there's some, it's hard to see now that I've stacked them, but there's some bigger ones in there where there's pretty weighty. I tend to do an undercut and then cut over it, kind of like you would on a regular, when you're bucking up logs, just because it just seems to, even though the gravity's helping you, it can weirdly twist and also spin and fall, dramatically and risk danger. If you cut it with the undercut, it tends to just drop. And as you saw, I didn't do that every time, but I did try to do that on the heavier limbs. It makes it much easier. And you don't want to get your pole saw chain stuck. That might be rather trivial when you're on the ground with a regular chainsaw, but it's kind of hard to get it loose if it's up there, and you don't want to do something stupid like get a ladder and get another saw and do all the stuff that will put you on YouTube for the stupid video challenges, or videos. So you don't want to do that. Anyway, I have 4 of these kind of trees that I worked on. I didn't film it all, but there's plenty to do in this meadow, but I'm going to move on to something else, partly just because I like to visit a different part of the property, and also don't want to focus on one area when there's so much to do. So I will film a little bit more in one of the other areas. We're at the next area of the property that I was going to do some pole saw cutting. This is off the levee on the, as you can see. I know we always say you can't tell slope on camera, and it does flatten things out, but hopefully you can tell this is really steep. And last year when we first got the tractor, about a year ago, didn't mow it right away. I was nervous, but it was a project that was high on my list because we hadn't had it mowed for a while, and it was interesting. It was intimidating, but it was a good project, good learning experience. I'll measure the slope sometime and do a video on mowing, but the way I do it, and I know there's some arguments on how you do this, is I basically back down and then turn on the PTO and go up and then keep doing it. It's pretty time consuming, but I don't want to make any turns on this levee except down there. There's a place you can kind of drive and flatten out. So, and maybe over there, but that's really wet. So anyway, for this project today though, I'm going to walk around this edge and cut some of these limbs that are kind of in the way, kind of encroaching on the field and make it hard to mow. And ideally, on this little kind of island between the 2 meadows, 2 hills, there's a lot of brush that needs to be cut. I don't know how far I'll get into that, but I at least want to get the stuff on the edge so it doesn't keep encroaching. So, and then I got that limb. So I'm going to do the limb cutting first and then go back and do brush cutting. And then maybe we'll have time to move on to another part of the property. Okay, I did that first little pass with the pole saw. You can see what I got cut down. I just wanted to walk you through it because one of the problems with a lot of the brush and stuff and having a bit of property to go through is you don't get to see everything all the time. So kind of wanted to look back here anyway. So anyway, got some of this cleared up, and then we're going to come back with the Echo brush cutter, get all these thorny bushes down, and then come back with the chainsaw and clear a little bit more. At least that's the plan. But as you know, sometimes the plans don't happen. Either I run out of time or get a little bit distracted. But I wanted to show you the spillway off the levee. I'm going to get a bunch of thorns here. Oh well. I said, we had about a full week of raining on and off, and I don't keep a range gauge, so I don't know exactly what we got. But here's the spillway from our pond, and it's been flowing like that for a bit. I came by yesterday up at the pond, lakeside, and made sure it was clear of leaves and debris. It's amazing. Sometimes when I clear that out, it's like you pull a plug on a bathtub, how fast it flows. It's a little scary. Water's powerful. Our pond is 29 acres, so there's a bit of water in there. Anyway, kind of cool. So anyway, I want to, clear all this. I mean, I want trees to go here, but there's a lot of brush, a lot of this crappy honeysuckle and thorn bushes and all kinds of stuff. So I don't want it to be perfect, and I can't because there's just too much to do. But every now and then, if you do a little bit, it helps. I think I'm going to wrap this one up for today. I got more to do, but my battery's running dead, so I probably won't film that. Plus, I want to get some more done without messing around with the camera so much. But always good to get out and get some chores done on a beautiful March sunny day. So appreciate you joining me for a bit, and talk to you soon. Take care.